Rico McGee, another episode of the Sports Minute, a special episode of the Sports Minute. I got the newest member of the 216 Sports Network family and the newest member of the Sports Minute affiliation. He is a friend of the show. I've had him on the show before. This is his third time. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Stroud, man.
Hey, Rico, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Ain't no
Really do.
thing, man. I appreciate you coming on the show as always, man. We got some things to talk about. And I really wanted to start. I had to change it on the rundown, but yesterday, man, the college football world, not really a shocker in some games, but you know how college football is. And if you bet money yesterday, it was a downward spiral, especially if you had Texas winning that game yesterday.
Not only did I have Texas winning that game, I had Texas in the points in another game.
Oh,
So, yeah. I don't want to talk about Texas anymore. I don't want to hear Texas is back. I talked about it on Friday on the pod with my brother. Check that out if you didn't get a chance to go back and listen to it. It's on the 216 Sports Network. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth. We talked about Texas. It was Texas back. That was a big win against Alabama. They've been putting up numbers and they've been winning games. Here you go. Here's another big opponent. The Red River rivalry. Say that 3 times fast. That's a big game. You got to show up, period.
Yeah, I think that last second touchdown was inexcusable, but this is not to discredit Oklahoma because Oklahoma's defense has been one of the best in the nation all season, and they've been a very much slept on defense. And I think they just proved to everybody yesterday who they were on the defensive side of the ball.
Oklahoma, as always, has a decent squad, and man, another quarterback.
Yes.
The way that school continues to just get guys in and out, no matter what, it's hard to do. Look at Alabama this year. Alabama doesn't even have a great quarterback this year.
No.
They had to take a transfer in from Notre Dame when they took when they took our offensive coordinator. So they're struggling to find good quarterback play. So to see Oklahoma year in, year out with a good quarterback is something to see.
It's just like that, that one person that constantly rolls a 7 when you shoot in CeeLo. It's like, damn, how does Oklahoma do it, man? Like,
come on. You got to go broke eventually. Like, you can't have everybody's money.
No doubt, man. I also want to talk about Notre Dame. I know that's your squad, man, and them losing the way they lost yesterday. I think that's what's more frustrating if you're a Fighting Irish fan, the way they lost. Now, this is not to discredit Louisville because Louisville came to play yesterday. You're at home. You got that big crowd behind you.
Not just a big crowd, the biggest crowd they've ever had in Louisville Stadium history.
Yeah, definitely. So they were going to come out strong. They were going to come out hard. And Louisville has never been a team that's just going to let you bully them, especially in football.
Absolutely. You know what? It was disappointing. It was disappointing in the way they lost in the terms of during the first quarter. I have a Notre Dame group chat and the defense looked tired. When you 4 back-to-back primetime games will take a toll on any team. I don't care who you are, who your coach is, what kind of roster you have, any of that. So the game against Ohio State, to lose that one the way they did with 10 men on the field and gut punched with no time left, it was only going to be a matter of time before that eventually caught up with them. They barely made it out of that Duke game. It was a great win, but there was a 4th and 15 conversion in which Sam Hartman ran for his life and threw his body on the line. And then Audric Estime made the great run. But if Estime doesn't break that 30-yard run, I can't say for sure they were going to drive down the field and score. I mean, they did, so they have to get credit for that. But then you go into the Louisville game, and there was a letdown. The defense got bullied around. The offensive line was manhandled. And Sam Hartman played his worst game since putting on the blue and gold. He had 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, came out on the first drive and threw an interception, threw one later in the game. It wasn't a good game all around for anyone.
You know what? And those kind of things happen. But it seems like my biggest issue with Notre Dame is like you want to show people that, damn it, my phone. You really want to show people that
we're back.
You're back.
We can compete with these bigger teams. That's been the thing. Notre Dame, they're back. But can they beat anyone? taking Ohio State to the limit like they did, some people will give you pat on the backs for that, especially in college. You know, you can get some moral points, some more victories for that, but you have to win, period. I'm
You have to
sorry.
win.
That's it.
Well,
And if you want to be, and I'm sorry, this is Notre Dame. I know the history. I know the school. This is not a small time team. This is not a team trying to get, to relevance like Dion with a Colorado, or how Oregon is kind of always around, but they're never all, into that next step. Notre Dame has been there. At some point there is no excuse. This is what it is. You had 10 men on the field against Ohio State when your defense played well majority of the game, and you took it and you went to Louisville and you had a letdown. It's fair to criticize criticize Coach Freeman for that.
yeah, Notre Dame is just, you want to show people you're for real, but you got to win these games, these kinds of games. You got to go in there. You got to take the crowd out of that game early. And that mental lapse and that against Ohio State, that's just one of those things where it's just like, come on, dude. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Notre Dame should bounce back. They'll definitely make a bowl game this season. I think
Yeah.
they will play in a January bowl game. So that, it's just a matter of just piggyback and, learning from your mistakes, and still a lot of football to be played. We're only in the beginning of October. So,
And before you get to that next game, next week is USC. So you go into the USC game and you handle your business, and everyone kind of looks at you again like, okay, maybe they are legit.
yeah, exactly. Speaking of USC, actually, watch that game last night. USC escaped Arizona by the hair on their chin. They was the
And
three
not
piggies
and
last
not
night.
our hair.
No, not mine either. No, no. I mean, I watched that game and I'm like, yo, that and Arizona went up by 10 early. And I said to myself, if USC loses this game, it's gonna be crazy if they lose this game. You go into a hostile environment and you beat USC, that would be, but Caleb actually showed why he's the defending Heisman Trophy winner, and they show why they're one of the best teams in the Pac-12 and in the nation. So
He showed why he's my front runner. I have him still number one on the list. I don't think anyone has dethroned him yet. I know Shakur Stevenson was coming for that. But and then you also have Michael Penix Jr. at Washington, but and Bo Nix at Oregon. You have some other quarterbacks, tight end at Georgia, but I think Caleb Williams is far and above. That's also the history of the Pac-12.
yeah,
Over the recent years, and it's been USC a lot. It's been, we're good, we're great, we compete, and then that one Saturday night, one of those teams come in and they clip them, and they're out of national relevance and they're out of the discussion. And it happens a lot in the Big 12, in the Pac-12, I should say.
exactly. I can remember back in the day, USC was always coming out strong, and then you lose to UCLA on some BS. And I'm just like, or that year they lost to Oregon, Dennis Dixon went off that game.
Ooh.
I'll never forget that game.
Mm-mm.
But hey, man, that's college football, man. So now let's talk about the National Football League.
Absolutely.
So starting off, I think it's fair to say, man, a lot of teams have been even Steven for the most part this year. A lot of 2-2 teams. And my
Yes.
first question to you, and I'll let you go first. Which 2-2 teams do you think are really legit, and which ones are just like bullshit?
There are a lot of 2-2 teams. AFC, Chargers, Steelers and Browns, Colts, Texans, Jags and Commanders, and the NFC with the Rams, Packers, your Falcons, and Saints. Uh Easier to do one than the other. The only two teams that I don't think are actually legit are the Titans. And unfortunately, and I think we'll get to this in a later segment, until there's a quarterback change, I don't think your Atlanta Falcons are going to be what they could be. But as in terms of legit,
That's
I like. Oh, I'm sorry, and I think it's fair to add the Steelers in as well.
yeah,
Sorry, Kenny Pickett. I enjoyed watching you at Pitt. I thought you were going to be Pittsburgh's quarterback. You were Pittsburgh's quarterback. That defense is a legit defense, but the offense is just horrific. The running game is bad. The passing game is bad. So I throw the Steelers in that I'm good on you category as well. Everybody else I'm in on. Chargers, I'm in on. Justin Herbert, period. That Justin Herbert alone could carry a team. I think the Browns are in. As long as Watson is healthy, I think the Browns are good to go. I think the Colts and the Texans, I want to bring them up together. Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud are legit. These are not flash in the pans. This is not a guy, taking advantage in his rookie year of some bad teams. I think they're both legit. And the Colts are getting back the Colts are going to get back Jonathan Taylor. If Jonathan Taylor is a fourth of what he's been, he's still going to help AR. That it's going to help him no matter what. And if he can be back to what he was, an MVP level candidate running back, a top 5 guy, the Colts are gonna make some noise. I think the same thing with the Texans. Nico Williams is a stud. Tank Dell, Robert Woods. They got Dalton Schultz in this year from the Cowboys. I think that was a great pickup. So I definitely agree with all of those teams. I think the only thing that might hold the Chargers back is Brandon Staley because I think he's arguably, if not the worst NFL coach, he's one of the top bottom 5. And the Jags as well. I do believe they're still winning over there in England right
They're
now.
up 18-7 on Buffalo.
Okay, so I mean Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has been that guy since Dabo went and got him for Clemson. And in Clemson, he held up and he competed and he won on every level. And he's coming to the National Football League. And other than having one bad year, and I mean, I'm sorry, I'll keep all of my personal Urban Meyer college issues out of this one, but he's a bad NFL coach. Period. End of story. He was a bad coach. He set Trevor Lawrence back. And when you look at what's going on in Chicago and when you look at what's going on in other places, we're lucky that Doug Peterson's come in and has been able to turn them around.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. So he definitely brings that winning formula to Jacksonville. I'm going to go my teams that are real. Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's defense is legit. After they went 2-2 against the Texans a couple of weeks ago, I think they put on their big boy pants. They looked at what they did wrong and they stepped up. I mean, they smacked around Atlanta last week, and it looks like they're going to smack around Buffalo today. They're up 11 on Buffalo right now. That score is 18-7. I'm also looking at, I think the Chargers are legit. I think their defense is pretty good. I do think that Justin Herbert is carrying the team on his back. It's just going to depend on play calling and, like you said, their head coach. If he could get his head out of his behind sometimes, I think they'll be okay. The Colts, you got Jonathan Taylor back. Definitely legit. If he could be a top 5 running back like he was, he's definitely catches the ball out of the backfield. One of the best in the league at doing that before everything went down. And the Titans. I think the Titans defense has stepped up tremendously within the last couple of weeks. As far as fake goes, I'm going to say Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense is just horrible. And I don't know if it's Mike Tomlin's fault. I think the offensive coordinator is horrible. They got to get him out of there.
Rico, we're going into week 5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have 0 rushing touchdowns.
That's depressing.
What? And as somebody, you're a Falcons fan, I'm a Cowboys fan. We have grown up in Cleveland. We have watched nothing but this AFC or the AFC North our entire lives. All of the Steelers done my entire life has run the football. Not that they haven't had quarterbacks and wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Roethlisberger and all of them. Cordell Stewart will go back.
Right.
They've always been able to run the ball. Shout out to Notre Dame's own Jerome Bettis. I do want to bring up something about the Titans that you mentioned because their defense is absolutely legit. It's going to come down to the quarterback play.
Yeah.
Can Ryan Tannehill keep this team afloat? They missed on Malik Williams. I'm not sure. Or Malik Willis. We're still not sure. Will Levis he looked horrible in camp. He looked so bad in camp that it wasn't even a question coming into the season whether or not this guy would even have an opportunity. It was going to be more, are you 3rd or 4th on the depth chart? That's how bad it's been. And is Derrick Henry back? 63 yards, 80 yards, then 20, but then 122 yards last week. So he is 29 years old. Can they finish this run in this window of Derrick Henry's career and help them? I also think it's fair to point out that they're still reeling from the A.J. Brown trade.
Yeah, that right there kind of hurt Tennessee. And then you bring in DeAndre Johnson, who's not DeAndre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, excuse me.
And it was a reach. It was a reach. Now, if you had A.J. Brown, I love it. But yeah, I agree 100%.
Right. The Rams, it's going to depend on how Cooper Kupp is feeling. I think Cooper Kupp if he could get back to what he was before he was injured, I think the Rams will be fine. It's just going
Puka!
right. It's going to depend on Cooper Cup, and they have a good quarterback actually.
Matthew Stafford's legit. I love Puka Nacua. He is an absolute stud. Kyron Williams is there as well as running back. He's been playing well. That's a veteran guy. I think the problem for the Rams for the first time is going to be, can the defense hold up
Right,
around Aaron Donald? You know, the offense actually has some pieces. They have a quarterback. Is that defense? Can that defense hold up? It's not the defense that won a Super Bowl.
right. That offense just tore it up. That offense just tore it up. I'm leaving the Falcons out of this. And the only reason why, no, the only reason why is because defensively, the Falcons have actually improved on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people don't realize, do not sleep on this Falcons defense this year. I'm with you. It's going to depend on the quarterback play. And the problem is, and coaching, because Arthur Smith is too conservative. You have too many weapons to be that conservative. But I understand why you don't want to bench Desmond Ridder as of yet. You drafted him. You got to let him make mistakes. You got to let him struggle. And I do understand that. But we are in a position where the NFC South is up for grabs. You got a good Buccaneers team. Baker Mayfield has been playing lights out in Tampa.
Baker, touchdown maker.
Right. Derek Carr is going to depend on, with the Saints is going to depend on how healthy is Derek Carr.
100%.
The defense, their defense is, they allowed 26 points against Tampa Bay last week. They got carved up last
The
week.
defense was supposed to be better.
Yeah, exactly. Marshawn Lattimore has always been one of the more underrated corners in the league, in my opinion.
100%.
Last week was kind of, man,
Yeah.
like you just don't know. So I left the Falcons and the Saints out because to me, the verdict is still out on them. It's going to depend on, for the Falcons, it's going to depend on quarterback play.
I don't even think it's fair to criticize Arthur Smith just because. Are you conservative because you're conservative? Are you conservative because you're afraid Desmond Ridder is going to lose you the game? You know what I mean? So I 100% agree with you. And you watch more Falcons games than I do. You know what I mean? That's your team.
Yeah.
But I think the criticism on Ridder is 100% fair. His rankings all are in the bottom third of the quarterback. But that's why I'm afraid to get on the coach there. I'm afraid to get on the coach when he's handcuffed at the quarterback position. Kind of similar to the Jets. You know what I mean?
Right.
How he can only go so far when you lost Aaron Rodgers. You're only going to go so far with Desmond Ridder. So no, I agree though.
Yeah, I never thought Desmond Ridder was gonna be the guy because
I didn't, and I'll full disclosure, my wonderful younger brother who I did the podcast with Friday, I had to owe him a bottle of Crown because I didn't even think Desmond Ridder would get drafted in the first 3 to 4 rounds because I didn't think his talent was there. I knew he won. I watched him walk into Notre Dame Stadium and take my team out. So I know what Desmond Ridder could do in college. I didn't think it would translate to the NFL. His stock was high. They bought it. He is a great kid. I am in no ways trying to disparage his character because he is a really, really good kid. He's got some good stories that you can go look up and read up on it as well. But I didn't think the talent would be there. And we're kind of starting to see that be true.
yeah. Hold on. Hello? Hey, Ma, let me call you right back. All right. All right, bye.
Shout out to Miles. Miles on the
Shout out to
pod.
Mom
Shout out
Duke.
to Miles. I'm a dude.
Shout out to Mom Dukes. All right. So, with that being said, the quarterback play, we're going to move on to the next topic, man. Quarterbacks that are not happy in their situations. You see it all the time. You saw it with Watson in Houston. We're starting to see a trend of unhappy quarterbacks. Kyler Murray in Arizona, despite the money that they gave him to keep him, who do you think is unhappy in their current situation?
So I broke it down into categories.
Okay.
Okay, I've got the Get Me Out crew. I've got the What More Can I Say crew. Shout out to JC. And I've got Silent Anger. So let's start with the Get Me Out crew. And I think number one, and I think it's the best guy to bring up first, Russell Wilson. I don't actually think Russell Wilson wants out of Denver because Russell Wilson wants to go somewhere else. I don't think football is first in Russell Wilson's life anymore. And
Okay.
I don't like when that gets brought up and it gets turned into some horrible criticism. Russ is older. Russ is one. Russ has got his bags. Russ's wife has a brand. Shout out to Sierra. They have a brand together. Like he has a lot of things going on outside of football. And unfortunately, we've seen it in the past. If you are not to the point where you don't care about anything in your life about football other than football, you tend to not succeed at the quarterback position. It was look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady went home for 3 months and then turned around and said, "No, guys, I got to go back because you can't mix it. You really, it's hard." And so I don't see Russ sticking around for much longer. I can see Russ packing this up and going, you know what, I can do other things other than football. He's a smart guy. He knows he wants to take care of himself, his body, his mind. So I think at some point, Russ might be out. But it's fair to point out Russ not having a bad year.
He's not at
He's not
all.
having 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's playing well. The team hasn't been playing well behind him. And I'm sorry, when you give up 70 points to a team, I really don't want to hear about what the quarterback on the other side did. I really don't.
He can
And
only play his
fantasy
position.
wise, right. And in fantasy wise, if that's what you care about when you want to rank a quarterback, 21, 35, 19, and 30 points respectively over 4 weeks. There's a 21 and a 19 mixed in there, but every quarterback so far has had some ups and downs, but there's also some big games in there. So Russ isn't playing well, but just with everything going on in Denver, I don't think him and Sean Payton are a good fit. Sean Payton is an old school Bill Parcells coaching tree guy, no nonsense. Kind of a lot of it doesn't translate, but there was a lot of things that did. Russ having his own office, the stuff going on the plane. There's just weird stuff going on there.
And I agree 100%. I don't think Russ wants out of Denver. I think, sort of like how I feel about LeBron low key. I don't think basketball is first in LeBron's life anymore. And
Oh,
that's how I feel it is with Russell in football.
mhm.
Um, I think he's just all about his brand now. And Denver got a quarterback who I wouldn't say he's past his prime yet. He's almost there, but Denver he just doesn't care about football as much
super.
anymore.
Go ahead.
He just no, go ahead, you good.
Super telling about the way a lot of the guys in Seattle were real vocal about not just their support for Geno Smith. I got no beef with that. You got to support your guy, but it was the way a lot of them went out their way to take shots at Russ. That was strange. And I know Russ gets a lot of beef or gets a lot of hate from people. We don't need to do the future stuff. I think I think it's stupid and it's not what I bring in when I'm mentioning about Russ not putting football first or that. But it was very strange the way a lot of those guys went out of their way to kind of take a shot at Russ. And there's not been a lot of guys in Denver who are like, no, Russ is our guy. Hey, no. And it's telling. At some point, it has to mean something. Not everyone can dislike this guy and it be all of us.
Right. And I agree. I think it's things that, maybe he could do a little bit better. If you're not, and I'm just speaking, if that is the case, if football doesn't come first in your life anymore, just go.
Yeah, that's right. Especially at the quarterback position, you don't have a choice, and it sucks. Or if Russ wants to be a backup and still collect a check because he wants to be a part of the game, or if he wants to start coaching, I got no beef there. But yeah, you're gonna get yourself hurt.
At this point. And then I think, you got players, man, they want to win.
Right.
They want to win.
That's where you see the frustration online with Denver. My other guy in the get me out category. Now I know Thursday was a little different, so everybody's gonna go, no. Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Get
definitely.
that poor guy the hell out of Chicago. I'm sorry. Chicago, I'm not a big like, hey, move the team, but get them. They're ruining a good quarterback. He is a talented kid. And I'll hear some flack from this. Shout out to Jared, my resident Ravens friend. I think he's a better running quarterback than Lamar Jackson. That's how talented I think Justin Fields can be. The reason why is Lamar will still take hits. Okay. Lamar looks like a guy who is running Justin Fields always to me looks like a quarterback who knows, hey, don't take that hit. Get out of bounds here. Get the extra yardage when it's needed. And they're not using it correctly. They went out and got DJ Moore. Obviously, on Thursday, he exploded. That was what we want from Chicago. But the O line still isn't good. They got rid of David Montgomery because they thought Khalil Herbert was going to be that back. Hasn't really. I mean, he's okay, but Deontay Foreman, Roshan Johnson, nobody's him there. Nobody's him in the running back room. They don't have a guy that is, I'm him. I'm here. And I think that definitely hurts them too.
You know what? I think Chicago just needs to do a whole new rebuild, and it starts in the front office. It starts in the front office because they've been putting out losing product for the last. I don't even think Chicago's been as relevant since they made the playoffs and lost to the Saints, I believe.
Right. It's been, or no, that would have been, you're talking Super Bowl. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
The year
It,
they lost to the Saints, this was a few years back.
yeah.
They made the playoffs and they haven't done much since. My issue is just it's the front office. And Justin Fields needs to get out of there. If I'm Justin Fields, I'm requesting a trade, and I think he has a couple suitable places. I think he would make an excellent fit in Atlanta, believe it or not. With the offense, those
Yes.
weapons, I believe Justin Fields would be excellent in Atlanta. You got a quarterback that could run. You got Kyle Pitts. You got Drake London. Then in the backfield, Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson. Then you got a Cardell Patterson who can run
Yeah.
and be receiver, bruh.
There's there's only there's only certain teams in the NFL that when you line up skill position wise across from Atlanta, that you're gonna go, well, no, I want this guy. No, I want run through it. I mean, grab a team, grab the Bills. Yes, I want Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Go from there. It's Atlanta has talent, so yeah, Justin Fields there would be
Yeah.
amazing. Arizona too, but we'll
Oh
we'll we'll,
yeah.
we'll, we'll get there too.
Yeah.
So my next group. What more can I say? What more? How bad does the guy in front of these next two guys have to be before these guys will get a chance? And that's Bailey Zappi of the Patriots.
Okay.
How bad does Mac Jones have to be before he actually gets a run? You saw Bailey Zappi come in last year and do a couple things and make some plays. Mac Jones is not good. Okay. Mac Jones is a bottom tier quarterback in the NFL and a guy who's going to hold a clipboard. I don't think that's bad. There's 500 schools that have a quarterback in college. There's only 32 jobs in the NFL. It's not a bad thing to say that you're on the lower end of that because you're still in the top 1% of everyone who can play this game in the entire world. But I just don't think Mac Jones, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I know Bill is stuck with him and I know Bill is sold on him, but I also think it's fair to point out that Bill Belichick has not done anything to help Mac Jones either.
No.
So
That
and
offensive line is terrible. He has
the offensive line is terrible. Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as your offensive coaches last year. The skill position guys and Bill's never been a go and get skill position player coach. And I'm
yeah.
sorry, when you don't have Tom Brady and you don't have that defense, you need some skill positions, Bill.
Yeah.
The other guy is I'm sorry. The other guy for that crew is your backup quarterback in Atlanta.
Taylor Heineke.
What what does Taylor Heineke have to do? I played well in Washington. I went toe to toe with Tom Brady.
You know what?
Desmond Ritter isn't doing anything, and this is the other thing. When you at least with Mac Jones, okay, we can point out that maybe he isn't losing the games, but he's not winning them. Desmond Ritter is losing you games because he can't move the ball with a team that has Bijan Robinson and Algier, what has Kyle Pitts, what has Cordell Patterson. Like this team is too talented to be hamstrung with that quarterback.
And you know what? I believe it too, man. I really would like to see what Taylor Heineke does with these offensive weapons because he played great in Washington last year. You know what cost them a chance at the playoffs last year was coaching.
Yes.
Why you decided to sit your quarterback last year, I have no idea, especially when you're trying to fight for a playoff spot. But it is what it is. I would like to see Taylor Heineke get a start at some point this season.
Okay.
I don't know what Atlanta's doing as far as the quarterback position, They'll probably look for something in the offseason, but that'll be something to look forward to.
Okay.
So, with the next topic, and shoot, we are close to the end of time. Let's start with the stardom, sit 'em, parlays, and bets. What you got?
All right. Couple of easy ones, I'll be honest with you. We've been kind of getting on Patrick Mahomes. It was a bad game. Taylor Swift distraction. I think he's going to light the Vikings up. Okay. I think we're going to see one of your normal vintage Patrick Mahomes performances. So start him, put him in your daily fantasy if you need him. CJ Stroud versus your Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, buddy. I think CJ Stroud continues. I don't necessarily think they will win the game, but I think CJ Stroud is going to have another good game. So those are your quarterbacks to start. Your running backs, same theme here. Isaiah Pacheco versus Minnesota. I think Kansas City's offense gets rolling again. So if you have Kansas City, put them in. Last week, I told you to sit your New York Giants or your New York Jets. Start them this week. Start Breece Hall against Denver. I like the Jets to get the ball moving on that defense. Wide receiver wise, I have three: Christian Watson versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he gets rolling again now for Green Bay now that he's back and healthy. Jamar Chase versus Arizona. I'm always open. Well, then you better be open this week, and I think he will be because it's time to back that up when you get that frustrated. And Puka Nacua versus Philly.
Okay.
I mean, Puka's going to have a bad game before I'm going to tell you not to start him at this point. So those are your starters. Here's your sits. Brock and Dak.
Really?
I think this might be a defensive game. I think there might be some mistakes, and I think this might turn into a smaller game. So I can't wait to get all of the heat from Dak. Please, Dak. Please. Rain Dakota Prescott. I love you. Please don't throw a pick today. We'll lose the game, but please don't throw a pick. James Conner against Cincy. I think Cincy knows that's coming. I think they're gonna lock that up. And I do not like starting Cooper Kupp in his first game back against Philly. I think Cooper Kupp will get rolling, but I don't like it now. Parlay wise, put your money where your mouth is. I have this in my Bet365 right now. I use Bet365. If you like FanDuel, use FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever you want to use. That's my personal choice. Ravens, Lions, Chiefs, and Dolphins plus 216, all money line. I have that rolling. I also have a bet on, and this I like, each team in the 4 o'clock window to throw a passing touchdown plus 220. I've got that locked in as well. Pray for me. My college bets didn't go so good. A couple of them went all right, but well, hopefully the NFL ones will go a little bit better. You want to roll into some picks?
Let's roll, man. Week
All
5
right.
pick 'em, man, and then we gonna wrap up the show after one more segment, man. Week 5 pick 'em. You got the games up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Give me I like the Colts over the Titans.
Give me the Titans.
Okay. We disagree. We disagreed on the Titans before. Saints versus Pats. I've got the Pats.
I agree. Give me New England. I think New England's gonna win that game.
Same. Ravens versus Steelers. Lamar and the Ravens. I think they keep rolling.
I think Baltimore is gonna smack Pittsburgh like nobody's business. Give me Baltimore.
Matt Canada, job on the line. Texans versus Falcons. I actually do have the Texans. I think they edge it out, and I think there's a quarterback change for Atlanta today.
I'm gonna disagree. I think somehow they're back at home. Desmond Ritter plays pretty good at home. Give me the Falcons.
Okay. Panthers and Lions. I've got the Lions.
I've got the Lions too.
What's that? Giants and Dolphins. Dolphins.
Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins.
Bengals and Cardinals. I've got the Bengals.
I've got the Bengals winning too.
I think Joey Burrow gets back. Eagles and Rams. Good game. I've got the Eagles.
I've got the Eagles too. I think that Eagles defense is going to be too much for Matt Stafford. Give me the Eagles.
Jets and Broncos. Give me the Jets.
Give me the Jets.
Chiefs and Vikings. Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Cowboys and 49ers. I'm going with my Cowboys. I dropped the helmet. That's a sign. Let's go.
I'm going to be honest with you. I agree. Give me Dallas over San Francisco. I think Dallas's defense has improved. I don't know if Dak Prescott's going to have a huge game, but that defense is going to have a huge game. It's going to be a battle of the defenses, and I'm going with Dallas.
Absolutely. And our Monday night, Packers and Raiders, give me the Pack.
Yeah, give me Green Bay. Devontae Adams, I don't know if he's healthy, and they're still trying to figure some things out. Give me Green Bay.
I agree.
All right, and for the last topic, we're going to talk about some WNBA, last but certainly not least. WNBA Finals kicks off today. Las Vegas Aces New York Liberty. I called it before the season started. Give me the Las Vegas Aces. I think they've been playing lights out all season. That experience, and then Candace Parker and that veteran leadership. Give me the Aces.
I mean, this is going to come down to a lot of Asia Wilson versus Brianna Stewart. I mean,
Yep.
this is big. Yeah, I everything you just said. Give me Becky Hammon and the Aces. I think Becky does it. I think she's a great coach. And I think with who should have been the MVP, Kelsey Plum, all of them. Yeah, I like the Aces to take this in 6.
Okay. Big bet, man. Well, thank you so much, Ken, for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. This is the newest member of the 216 Sports Network and the Sports Minute, man. I'm Rico McGee. We'll see you in a minute.